Okay guys, I'm back again, and this time we're going to be doing another one of those deep dive videos. We are going to be talking about what might be a little bit of a controversial topic today. We're going to be talking about the weight loss injections. And we're going to not just be talking about the injections themselves, but some of the wider issues that are going on, which are basically contributing to their mass adoption in society. So this video is meant to be educational. It's meant to hopefully provide actual strategies and information that people can use. It's not meant to be attacking people who take the weight loss jabs, and it's certainly not attacking people who are told by the doctor that they need to use the weight loss jabs. Okay, so I hope the video is taken in that way, and I hope you get something useful from it. So to set the stage a little bit, we need to look at why the jabs are becoming really popular. And the basic answer to that question, guys, is because we have an obesity epidemic and overweight epidemic in a lot of Western countries. So where I am in the UK, just over 60% of adults in England are overweight or obese. Okay, so that's overweight or obese, and 29% of adults in England are actually in the obese category. So that's quite a significant chunk of the population. It's not good because obesity comes with many health conditions that are secondary. So you've got hypertension, obviously that's blood pressure problems. You can get arthritis in your joints because of the pressure that's being placed on your joints, especially if it's accompanied with a sedentary lifestyle. You raise your risk for various types of cancer, heart disease. There is a big umbrella of conditions in which obesity is kind of the top section, and it is a massive risk amplifier for those conditions. So it's a serious problem. Obviously type 2 diabetes as well is a big one. It's a serious problem. So people don't want to be in that situation, do they? We all know that. Nobody wants to be obese, okay? But what's happened? We live in a society where junk food and the overconsumption of calories is extremely easy. It's extremely easy. I think all of us have done it. I've been pretty fit most of my life, but there have been times where I've put some weight on and I've thought to myself, good God, I've just been eating stuff that is just so easily available that sometimes you don't even think about it. It just happens, right? And I'm pretty health conscious. So someone who's not like nerdy about health and fitness like I am, you're going to be even more vulnerable to that. And that's not your fault. That's a societal problem, and supermarkets are selling you this rubbish. The other side to that, and I do also believe that this is true as well, is there is a general lack of willingness in society to say that we do bear a bit of responsibility as individuals to manage ourselves and to find strategies to manage ourselves. And I think we can have that conversation without blaming people or having a go at people. So I think it's perfectly fine to say, okay, this has happened, we're in this situation now, but let's have a look at strategies, what we can use going forward in order that this situation can improve. You can lose weight and you can improve your health outcome. And you can say that without calling someone fat or having a go at someone. So it's how you address the problem. You can have the same intention, but you have two different ways of addressing it. One switches people off, and one can be quite effective. So in society now, we've got this problem, and we've got these weight loss injections that have come along in order to try and solve that problem. So the weight loss injections, right from the start, we know for a fact that these do work. They've been used for quite a while for people who are chronically obese and for people with diabetes and some other conditions as well. So they're not completely new. They are just the mass adoption of them is new. They are incredibly effective. People who take them lose huge amounts of weight. You can look at every single piece of research, speak to people who take these injections, and you'll find out that they are extremely effective. They do work. There is absolutely no question. Because what they do, they make you feel full. They slow down your digestive system. There are a couple of them that have some hormonal changes as well. But basically that means that you don't feel hungry, you don't get hunger pangs, you don't get a massive craving appetite in the middle of the night, and you don't walk past a bag of Haribos and eat it, because you're hungry, because it's tempting, because you're full. right? And that's great. The problem where we run into, in my opinion, is that, and it comes back to this individual strategies point. Again, as humans, we want to find the path of least resistance to the goal that we want to achieve, right? And unfortunately, people who don't need the weight loss jabs, I use the word need, people who don't need the weight loss jabs are taking them because they see this as the path of least resistance to getting what they want. Rightly or wrongly, that's how a lot of this is seen by people who don't need the weight loss jabs. And what is happening is basically you've got a mass adoption of these weight loss jabs. People are taking them. The prices have gone sky high. People who need them are struggling to afford them. There's a lot of stock problems, there's all sorts of problems, and people are panicking because they can't get their hands on the weight loss jabs. So that's happened a few times, and people become reliant on it. I need the jab, right? You don't need, guys. Unless you've been told by a doctor you need the jab, you don't need the jab, okay? We need to look at lifestyle and habitual changes that can be put in place first. So this is where I get onto my point about the jabs in terms of what I think of them. I actually believe that the jabs are an incredibly useful tool for those that need them, and possibly for those who might not necessarily need them, but I also think that lifestyle, nutrition and exercise plans need to be implemented before you start taking these weight loss jabs. The reason why I say that is because research has shown, and I'll put a couple of screenshots from a couple of different sources, British Medical Journal and National Institute of Health, on the screen in order in a moment. But research has basically shown that a massive majority, sometimes 4 and 5, you'll see 2/3 of people, put the weight back on that they lost when they stopped taking the jab. So basically, what does that mean? That means that the long-term outcomes that we want are not going to be there. If 4 in 5 people who take the jab put the weight back on, there's no point taking the jab, okay? There is no point taking the jab if that's what you're going to do, and if that's going to be the impact. So why do we have that impact? Why does that happen? The basic reason why it happens, again, I'll come back to this individual strategies idea. When you're full, because you're on the weight loss jab, you're not hungry, you're not wanting to eat. You don't need to have the appetite control, portion control, nutritional awareness and habit building skills, because the jab is doing that for you. It's controlling these urges for you. To have long-term success with any diet, nutrition, exercise plan, you must learn how to build habits. That's a habit of portion control. It might involve measuring things until you get an idea of what a certain amount of food looks like, and then you don't need to. It might involve doing a food diary for a couple of weeks so you can identify your weak areas. There are so many different strategies you can adopt. Educating yourself a little bit about maybe a whole foods diet. Which things can I replace? What can I replace the sugary things with that are going to be a little bit more healthy? And the other point I want to make on top of this is that calories matter. I talk about calories on this channel all the time, right? But the problem is, you get a lot of people who say, I don't eat many calories, but I still gain weight. And I'm going to upset a few people, but that's not true. You don't. If you gain weight on your current nutrition strategy, that means that you are consuming more energy than you are getting rid of, than you are burning. It is a physical and physiological impossibility to gain weight, to gain body fat, while you are in a calorie deficit, a true calorie deficit. Okay, so the body cannot create energy from nothing, and when your body increases its fat stores, that's because that is surplus energy that your body does not need, and therefore it has stored that energy as fat. So if you're in a calorie deficit, this physiologically does not happen. It just doesn't, guys. So we need to understand that calories in versus calories out is a very, very important thing about building a strategy for your nutrition. and nutritional quality, so the quality of what your food, has to come alongside that as well. And it's a lot harder to eat 2,000 calories of chicken breast, sweet potatoes and broccoli than it is to eat 2,000 calories of pizza. It's a lot harder. You'll struggle. So just by improving the quality of your diet, you can actually make it easier for you to maintain your calorie deficit if you need to do that. So unfortunately, guys, it's setting people up to fail a little bit what's going on, because you tell people to take these weight loss injections, they take the weight loss injections, they feel amazing, as they should, they lose a lot of weight, and what happens when they stop taking the weight loss injection? Put the weight back on. That's no good, is it? We don't want that. Why should we? You've spent a lot of money on that jab probably, and it's 90% plus chance you're going to put all the weight back on. So what I'm just saying to you guys is, if you want to use the jab, please be my guest, use the jab. I'm not telling you to not use the jab. But what I am asking you to do is consider what you do before you start taking the jab and what you plan to do after you stop taking the jab. Because if you don't have those things in place, you will revert to prior habits that the jab is not compensating for anymore. And if you do that, you've wasted your money and you're not doing yourself any favors. And all I want to do here is I want to make content that allows people to improve their quality of life and health. So I hope that nobody thinks that I've been having a go at people who take the jabs or having a go at the jabs. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get people to understand that there is more to weight loss than just taking an injection, and it is a lifelong process of habit building, skill development, which is not easy, right? It isn't easy. No one's saying it's easy. And the other thing I want to say before we wrap up the video is that what I've noticed is a big trend of people who take the weight loss jabs. They starve themselves as well. They don't eat very much protein, and as well as losing body fat, they lose huge amounts of lean mass. You lose bone density obviously when you do that, and that doesn't help you at all, guys. Okay, losing lean mass is not good. You don't need to do that. Okay, so if you are on the jab, eat lots of protein, eat lots of whole foods, stay healthy, drink lots of water, and build those habits and strategies, preferably before you go on the jab, so that you know what you're going to be contending with when you finish the jab. Okay, that way you've got a bit of an idea of what it's going to feel like when you put these things into practice. So I hope that's been helpful. Again, it's not attacking anybody, it is just basically pointing out that we are falling into a little bit of a trap of just saying to people, oh yeah, just take the weight loss jabs and you'll be absolutely fine, and just ignoring the fact that the research has clearly demonstrated, and every single trial that has been done on this has demonstrated, that basically the majority of people will not maintain that weight loss. Doesn't have to be like that. The reasons that I've outlined in this video are the reasons why that happens for most people, because the habits aren't there. So, conclusion. Build your habits, then take the weight loss jab, continue your habits, and then when you get off the weight loss jab, you're going to know what it feels like to have to put that into practice, and you're going to have a better chance of succeeding, and that'll be amazing. If you like this video, guys, share, comment, subscribe. I know it's been a bit of a waffle, but I think it needs to be discussed, and yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you.